Christians have this weird habit of turning blessings into curses.
I humbly place before you my East Meets West patented Traeger turkey burger, an Asian fusion burger made with Willow Farms organic turkey, toasted Taleggio cheese crisp, papaya chutney, black truffle aioli, and microgreens on a gluten-free brioche bun.
They take things that are meant to be like freedom-giving and beautiful and lovely and wonderful and enjoyed.
Here's mine. It's a hamburger made out of meat on a bun with nothing. Add ketchup if you want. I couldn't care less.
And turning them into things that are like legalistic and oppressive and mean and ugly.
Way better.
Yep.
Oh my God, it's so much better. It's crazy.
This is better.
And why do we do that? That is the case with the fourth commandment, the Sabbath, which basically boils down to everyone deserves a break. And how did we take that and make it mean? That's what we're talking about this week. Hello all, I'm the Mad Pastor, and Christianity sucks. It's boring, it's out of date, it's irrelevant, but it doesn't have to be. Let me explain why. So we are still looking at the 10 Commandments. This is the fourth of those 10. Please feel free to check out the other videos in the series. We would love to have more views on those and to hear your feedback about them. And also, you know, they kind of build on each other, so that it's nice to like have some kind of context as we read through them. We are looking at the fourth commandment about the Sabbath, and you know, I'm going to read the Bible, but it's very short. So if you skip ahead, I mean, like, what are you doing? You know, like, what are you doing? I am reading from Exodus chapter 20, verses 8 through 11. They sound like this. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath to the Lord your God. You shall not do any work, you, your son or your daughter, your male or female slave, your livestock, or the alien resident in your towns. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth and sea, and all that is in them, but rested the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and consecrated it. Before we continue, I want to remind you that we, for the foreseeable future, are collecting funds for a group called Zoe Empowers. They quite literally empower communities with skills and entrepreneurial education to make their own businesses and make an economy and a living in their own community. We've been assigned a community in Rwanda, and every dollar you give to this channel goes directly to helping those people. So please use the QR code over here or any of the links down below, or you can mail a check P.O. Box down below to Kindred UMC, and all of that will go to help the people in Rwanda that we are getting to know as we speak. So let's continue. So just a little bit of like housekeeping, I guess. The Sabbath used to be Saturday. That's what the Jewish Hebrew Sabbath is. And because Christians celebrate the resurrection, which happened on Sunday, the day after the Sabbath, they kind of moved it. So now the Christian Sabbath is Sunday, typically. But we're going to unpack some of the legalism around that. But what's funny is like one of the reasons why is because Christians weren't Christians early on. Immediately after Jesus' death and resurrection, Christians were still Jews. They were practicing Israelite Hebrew faith, but they also wanted to celebrate the Eucharist, and they wanted to celebrate in a Christian way. They were called followers of the way. And so if temple life and all of society organizes around the Sabbath, which is Saturday, you have to do worship on Sunday. So now Christians to this day do worship on Sunday, mostly because they were busy doing Jewish worship on Saturday. Now let's talk about the weird legalism that a lot of churches have around the Sabbath. So one of the reasons for that is self-protection. They're worried that if they don't make it an absolute rule that you come to church on Sunday, that no one will come. So rather than being relevant or engaging or entertaining, they instead insist that if you don't come to church on Sunday, you will go to hell. So that's one of the reasons that there's a lot of legalism in more conservative churches around the idea of the Sabbath day. That's not at all the heart of this law, and I can prove it with Jesus. That's the good news about this, is that Jesus has already directly weighed in. Jesus heals people often, and one of the criticisms that the Sadducees and the Pharisees often level against him is, you did work on the Sabbath, because people get healed on Saturday instead of the next day. And Jesus makes this point about, would any of you who had a thirsty donkey not take your donkey to water? Isn't that work? The Sabbath is not made for legalism. The Sabbath is made for people. They need a break. Now, here's the real power of this particular commandment. You see, the Israelites had just come from Egypt, where there was a very serious caste system, and they were at the bottom rung. They were slaves. The Israelites were enslaved in Egypt. And this is not only normal, but it's pervasive. It's like everyone understands that there are better people and there are bad people. There are lower people. And so like Hammurabi's Code, Sumeria, Egypt, Babylon, Rome, Greece, like everywhere you look in history, there are like the upper class and the lower class. And here's the thing. If you're in the lower class, especially if you are enslaved, there are different consequences and different outcomes if you break the law. If you steal a piece of bread and you are an upper class citizen, you might have to pay the bread price. If you steal a piece of bread as a slave, you might get your hands or your head cut off. There are different levels to different caste systems, and that's why this law in particular is so revolutionary. If you'll remember the text lists out the people and things that get to take a break. In a world where literally every other culture, everything around them says, yeah, there's upper class and there's lower class, and there's different repercussions depending on your status in society. Here comes the rule of Yahweh, the law of the Lord that says, you know what? Everyone gets a break. You, your children, your family, your servants, any foreigner in your land, and even the pack animal, even the donkey that pulls the plow, everyone gets a break. No matter your status, no matter your wealth, no matter your beauty, everyone gets a break. It is the law of Yahweh, and it's number 4 of the top 10. That's how revolutionary this law is, and it changed the world. We still live by this today. How many people have been overworked and been able to say, you know what, this is not fair? That started way back when with the 10 Commandments. That's how revolutionary this idea was. Everyone, even your slaves, get a break. They get a day off. So let's all be good Christians. Let's all be followers of the law. Let's all give each other a break. And I don't just mean if you're an employer giving people a day off. And quite frankly, if you overwork yourself, give yourself a break too. But I also mean like just in general, man. Everyone's at each other's throats these days. We have become more and more divided. So like, let's be people who give each other a break. Let's let people off the hook, man. Let's be kind. Let's be gracious. Let's be forgiving. Let's assume positive intent. Everyone under the rule of God's law, in his name, deserves a break. I've been the Mad Pastor. This has been the Fourth Commandment. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.